Good morning. Welcome to Loewenwood Forest Homeschool. I'm Andrea. Here we homeschool our 5 children in the Canadian Boreal Forest. So we do typical homeschooling. We do have table work where, we do the English and we do French and we do science and math and all those wonderful things. But then we also try to get our kids outside and learning in nature as much as possible, because it's our goal just to have our children to love nature, to enjoy being out in nature, and to eventually become wonderful stewards of this beautiful forest. So whether they grow up to be foresters or scientists or, really anything, just to have the love of nature and just to understand that nature really is our best friend. So today I want to share with you 5 things I learned while homeschooling my 5 children. So number 1, I often get asked questions, well, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? And quite frankly, sometimes I've never encountered that particular situation or problem. So the number 1 thing is all children are different. I have 5 children. They are completely different. Some sleep in, some are early risers, some sleep poorly, it's just so hard. And some children are amazing sleepers, and honestly you just don't know what kind of personality you're gonna get. Some children are good at math, some are poor at math, some need extra help when it comes to math. And so I never realized how different each child could be, my own children could be, and yet they are so unique and so different. And so when it comes to homeschooling them, I need to have completely different approaches, which can be challenging because I am only one teacher. Certainly in public school they would have different teachers and different teachers might do better with them. But the good thing is that as the only educator, from year to year, I know their strengths, their weaknesses, I know where they need help, and I know where they can just fly and I can give them just wings. So sometimes it's good and sometimes not so good. Is this tree alive? Yeah. You think it's dead? It doesn't look like there's a lot of woodpecker holes, so that means it's not full of bugs. That's a good thing. But the branches look to be pretty strong. What do you think?
Yeah, just don't pull any out.
Another thing I've learned homeschooling my children is to let them lead more often. Your children have strengths, and when I first started homeschooling, I did the typical public school thing where I bought a curriculum, I set the curriculum, I said, this is what we're learning today, this is how we do it, we have to do it in this order. But then as I've been homeschooling my children, I realized that I need to follow their lead. If they are interested in science, let's just lean hard into that and they will learn science like you would not believe. We don't need to follow the public school curriculum, although I still have it just to make sure they're at grade level. But yeah, I just lean into their wants and desires for learning, and they just absorb it so much faster and retain it so much better than I ever did when I went to public school.
Foot's freezing.
Your foot's getting cold, so we're just gonna have a little break. Yeah. Just have a break on the side of the trail. The third thing I learned for myself as well as my children is that we need breaks. We can't go hardcore. We can't go school all day long. I know public school is 8 hours a day, but it's peppered with breaks. It's peppered with lunch breaks and snack breaks and recess and transitioning from class to class. And so when you're homeschooling, it's easy just to flip through all the classes and not have a break. And so I realized that for myself, as well as for my children, I need to schedule breaks. I need to have downtime. And that goes for regular life as well. Of course, you hear lots of people talking about how you can't have kids in every single activity, that they need to have a break. And it's just so true. Even the kids with the most energy, they still need to have some downtime where they can just sit and relax and do something that's calming, whatever activity that you prefer. I let my kids watch a show just because that occupies them so I can get some me time. But if you prefer just to have your kids watch some television or just do something creative like coloring, whatever you prefer, they need that downtime. All right, let's go. The fourth thing I've learned is flexibility. Honestly, I'm a type A person. I want to get stuff done. I've got my list of things to do. And with kids, I mean, some days I don't get a single thing on my list done. Can you believe that? It breaks my heart every time, but I've learned after many years just to go with the flow, just to be more flexible. It doesn't mean it doesn't get me upset. It doesn't mean I wish things were a little bit different sometimes or a little bit easier and I didn't have to be so flexible, but in the end, flexibility is a wonderful, wonderful trait. If I can teach my children to be flexible and I can be more flexible, it's just easier to get along with others. It's easier to just go with the flow, and it's just nicer to be flexible and calm and just, that's okay, this is what we're doing now, change of plans, everything will be fine. It's just better for my mental health, better for my kids, better for everyone. Are you throwing snowballs? Are you throwing snowballs? Are you throwing snowballs? Oh. Okay, come on, let's go. Back to the house, let's go. And in the same breath as I say, be flexible, you also need to have a plan. You cannot homeschool 5 kids without a plan. And on those days where the nights have been tough, many kids have been up through the night, or you're sick, or you're just plain tired, if you have a plan, that just carries you through the day. So if you have a set time for lunch, you have a set plan for lunch, you have a plan for the school day, you know what subject you're covering, honestly, you can just lean into that plan. You don't have to think, you can be in zombie mode. And things will still get done. The day will still get through. Yeah, it's just a much more pleasant experience just knowing what needs to be done, the minimum. You know, you're not gonna do some crazy stuff. That'll fall off the to-do list, but just get what needs to be done, the kids fed, school done, and relax. So having a plan to get you through the day, especially the hard days, definitely key. So I tried to have a meal plan, I tried to have a school plan, and whatever else I can get accomplished, that's great. If not, I can always defer those things into the next day. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me on my walk. I hope that my tips can help you in your homeschool journey with your kids, especially if you're starting off. These are great tips to know in advance to starting homeschooling. So number 1, all kids are different. Number 2, let them lead. Just follow their lead when it comes to their interests and what they want to learn. Just lean into that. They will learn so much better if you do. Number 3, take breaks. Make sure you have scheduled breaks throughout your day. You need downtime as much as your kids need downtime. Number 4, remember to be flexible. And number 5, have a plan. So in that plan, make sure there is flexibility. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining us, friends, and I'll see you next time in the forest. Bye!
Here's our turtle time for today.